against Terran, but he's had very difficult matchups to play. Most notably, his game against Flash was pretty exciting versus Flash's somewhat mobile mech army on the King Sejong Station. So if you look at those stats, it's a very small sample size against very good players.
Yeah, DRG didn't have the biggest bang coming out into round one, but he's starting to get stronger and stronger. But he's going to be up against this guy so far, 4-1. Definitely a very strong turn for JINAIR Green Wings here. He is Cure, of course, but so far he has not played any TVZ, so this is going to be his first time.
Yeah, this will be his very first time playing TVZ, and we'll see how comfortable he is here. The map that this is going to be on is Outboxer, so he may have been chosen for this map because of the layout and how strong mech is here. We've seen almost always players meching here, with the exception of Fantasy, who refuses to mech for some reason. We'll see what sort of strategy he's got planned to see if DRG can handle it here on Outboxer. Let's jump into game number 2. This is the SPL with Wolf and Brendan.
LTA는 SK텔레콤.
Up here in the top left on Outboxer, the teal for MVP, Zerg player DongRaeGu.
And down to the bottom right in green, it's Cure for JINAIR Green Wings. I've seen this guy with some pretty good plays so far this season. He's one of those players that's just consistently done well, but is not fielded often. And that's a sign of a player who's just so good at exactly what his team wants him to do, and is very good at preparation. Because in a team league like this, it's all about the best of ones, and if every time you are sent out on a specific map and a specific matchup you do well, it makes you very valuable.
Yeah, I mean, it even furthers your point about Outboxer, a map that, you know, a Terran going mech against Zerg is definitely very, very strong. And if they prepared him for this map against DongRaeGu, I see it going pretty well for Cure. Definitely can be very scary for DongRaeGu. I still have my eggs in that basket though, so I'm not gonna hold back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's see how this plays out, because the strength of mech on this map, and you and I have discussed this quite a bit, is because there's so many different siege points where you can hit hatcheries but cannot really be attacked by melee units. And Zerg is a race that relies heavily upon Zerglings and Banelings in this matchup, which are melee units, which then have to traverse extra distance to actually close the gap on siege tanks, Hellbats, even bioforces with the siege tanks, like we've seen some players do in the past with big bio compositions with mech support, Thors and siege tanks on the low ground. And that's very difficult for a Zerg to assault. The medevacs load the Marines in, drop them on the high ground. When the Banelings and the Zerglings come to attack, he just picks up and puts them on the low ground. The Zerglings have to run all the way around, and all that time they're taking damage. So, you know, you have to be very, very careful about engaging that. If you can stop the siege up, that's the most important thing.
Yeah. That guy came all the way from Ulsan. It's in the very, very south of Korea. So he's come a long way. We've had a lot of people from around Korea, Korean people, come all the way to Seoul to watch this. So even, you know, we have a lot of foreign fans come down here as well, a lot of them in the audience today as well, but a lot of Korean fans from far away in Korea as well. And it's really cool to see everybody come down just to watch Pro League.
It is bringing people together, man. It's how we do things on Sundays here.
Everybody hold hands and
every
pray to Maru.
Everybody hold hands, pray to Maru. Take out your tablet and open the Team Liquid thread, and let's recite the lines.
Oh, that's so funny.
Today's reading is from the Protoss is overpowered thread. This Reaper comes in here, sees a queen, and becomes very shy, leaves immediately.
Yeah. Didn't want to show his face for too long.
But that's actually not so bad for Cure information-wise, because he's like, oh, wow, you went pool first? That's pretty crazy. That means your economy is not ideal. But I probably have Zerglings speed up against me pretty soon here, so I need to be careful about that, because there's almost no reason why somebody would go pool first except to rush speed and to be super safe like DRG is doing here. He didn't actually check the gas, though, so a little bit surprised by that.
Yeah. Cure, as you guys know, you might not know if you're lower on the ladder, but as you get up to Master, Grandmaster, and especially to Pro level, these guys come in and they see a queen at this time and they're like, oh, okay, I immediately know. And that's just what Wolf was saying before about just seeing that queen and being like, oh, okay, I know your build exactly. You know, he may not know definitely that the gas was taken, like you said, but it's something that he could definitely assume.
Well, I mean, what's interesting to me is he sent the Reaper back right away and then checked the third base location, almost as if he was scared that was possibly one base banelings coming his way, that he weren't being morphed nearby. He played that pretty safe in that sense. Zerlings will come up here, of course, scout the factory. I'm not quite sure if he has enough vision to see the command center. I think our observer's going to verify that. Yeah, so he barely gets vision of the command center. So DRG here knows exactly what he's up against, drops the third hatch, and the game will continue.
Yeah, Starport also being added here for Cure. So we could see some aggression, some, you know, Hellions coming across, some Reapers along with that, and some maybe Medivacs with some Motive Mines being dropped down as possible.
Yeah. Zerlings, or rather Overlord speed is being researched now. So DRG is really concerned about what composition he's up against, because he doesn't want to blindly drop a Baneling Nest or a Roach Warren, or even, at this point, a Lair necessarily, until he knows what sort of composition he's dealing with. He wants to go in there and see the factories at that timing, if that's what he's up against. He wants to see if Stim is being researched. And the way we have it right now, it looks to be we are going to see Mech. Cloak starts things off here with the Banshee back at home. He's not starting Stim. He doesn't have a Tech Lab on production, so he's not going to be adding any Stim Marines anytime soon. He's cut Marine production entirely here.
Yeah, we predicted it before the Mac, and he's going to go for it. He has the 3 CCs already as well. And once he gets that Siege Tank count up very, very high, he's going to be able to protect himself on 3 bases, get those buildings up, even get a 4th base, and start being aggressive. This Overlord with the speed is going to be able to come in and see that Cloak starting, so DongRaeGu, if he acknowledges this, if he takes it seriously, like he has been all game, being very careful, he definitely should be able to defend this.
Yeah, gets a Lair. It's about the normal timing he'd like to have for a Lair anyways, but he needs to have that out to deal with the Cloak. He's also seen that the Barracks was totally idle, not producing anything, not getting any Stim, so that may lead him to believe the Mech is coming, but we also have 2 E-Bays in production as Stim has started late, so DRG's kind of still left a little bit guessing. He's going to want to come back in with another pass on that Overlord, so it's not going to be actually Mech as originally thought. But this is a cool, tricky way that Cure can keep DRG on his toes and keep him a little bit uncertain about what sort of composition he's facing. Now here comes that Banshee. We'll actually pass the third base here and go for the main. Spores being added, so many queens. He should be able to morph an Overseer in just a second.
And this Overlord is going to come in and he's going to see those 2 EBs. And the only reason you would have those 2 EBs is for extra infantry upgrades. So he's got to know that it's not going to be Mech here, even though with the extra aggression coming here with the fast Hellions, he's got to know that's coming, but he's got to know as well that it's going to be Bio with the follow-up.
Yeah.
And he drops the Baneling Nest and the melee upgrades.
He does, and he's going to be ahead in upgrades. He also didn't overcommit to anything. He didn't like start a Roach Warren because he wasn't sure. He's just in a pretty good spot. Drones up heavily because he knows the follow push timing is going to be a little bit slow because the barracks were late. I think he even saw a second barracks being added on his way out with the Overlord, so he's like 100% sure what he's dealing with here. He knows that Cure isn't going to do like a fake double eBay. That's pretty crazy. I don't think we've ever seen that before.
That would be intense, man. That's just like going too far.
This Viking is going to put an end to this Overlord, so no more scouts for that one. The one to the south, though, still present, able to come back in and check. Could also see how many minerals were mined at the third base. These Banshees, to be honest, haven't really accomplished a whole lot.
No, I don't even think they got one drone, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, they came in, they scouted, but the Queens were able to hold them off very, very easily, given the you know, they were able to see it with the Spore Crawler up, so definitely able to hold it off very well. And DongRaeGu is in a very good spot here. He's going to add his Spire. He has the Baneling Speed on the way as well. His upgrades are going to be on par with Cure as well, so he's got to be feeling pretty good about this. He has his 4th base, and not much, you know, damage was done with the aggression out of Cure.
Yep. Wow, he misses that Overlord. The second one should also escape, I would guess. I think he's got more hit points.
They got their Nikes on, man. They're running away.
Nike Air, no joke. Float you through the air, man. Ooh? No.
Viking, I think it's the same Viking from before. He's only got that one Overlord near his base.
This is pretty cool. Gonna get some creep here. Costs him a little bit of tempo with the minerals lost from the mule. And he's going to lose a little bit here as well. All of his Hellions go down. Looks like the Reapers died as well. But it's not that game-changing. It does eliminate a lot of harassment potential. But in the mid-game to late game in this matchup, Hellions don't see much use.
Yeah, they don't really. I mean, it was a nice pick-off by DRG, but it's not going to be the hugest thing in the world. And now with Cure coming across, he has a very strong push coming here with 1-1. He has 2-2 on the way, but DongRaeGu already with a lot of stuff here, and he has 10 mutas on the way. So we're going to have to see how well he's going to be able to hold this off.
It's really key that he has Baneling speed, and a lot of Banelings already pre-morphed here. And he's going to fight most of this Terran army on creep. Cure with some good splits at first, but he just fell apart there at the very end. He's continuing to try to push his way through here, but now he's going to lose those very expensive Banshees. And the Marine count here is dwindling. He's going to have to pick up, but if he does, he's going to find Mutalisk right at his throat. This next wave of units actually needs to split as well. I think he was hoping that they were going to push DRG back, but DRG continues to chase. Is going to catch one medevac, possibly two here. And even though he loses the Banelings, he trades them for medevacs and forces a lot of stims. This is a great trade for DRG. DRG about 700 minerals lost up on his opponent. And that's pretty significant. That's pretty rare in this matchup.
Yeah, DRG trading very, very well. He took out all of the air units except that one Viking that you guys see. And the Banelings doing a lot of damage as well earlier on, but he was able to lose those a little bit later on. DRG in a very good spot here. He's going to have this little changeling coming in for extra scouting ability, but he has a ton of mutas on the map already, 16. He's going to be able to start doing harassment. He's going to have total map control. And with that attack that Cure didn't do much damage with, DRG is in an even better position here.
One turret. Widowmine is scary enough to push the mutas away. But over here, he's totally turret blind.
No turrets.
Actually, that's a bad word for this turret blind. I don't know how that came out, but no turrets. Yeah, the much better way to say it. Two mutas go down, on the other hand. Not a whole lot of damage done, so a solid defense by Cure. Lack of turrets considering. Now, let's see how this push goes, because this push is pretty important. DRG's a little bit out of position right now, and if he actually goes over there and does damage, then let's see what he decides to do. Is he going to turn around right away? And he does, yes. He's going to rely on this wall to buy him enough time. Can he kill some SCVs here? He'll force a lift.
SCVs do get away, but already those Banelings getting decent hit on the army, and you know, DRG's just buying himself enough time here, going for a counterattack here. He's not going to fight it head-on just yet until he has more time. And Cure, it seems like he wants to take away that time from DongRaeGu and go for an attack, but he's very scared about the huge amount of units that DongRaeGu has. He's even going to see the units up here as well.
Yeah, that's really scary. He does not want to lose those Banelings. Those are pretty expensive, and he already traded quite a lot of those just earlier. And these attacks are becoming less and less efficient for DRG. But I think you said it best earlier when you said this is basically him buying time. Now, a few Banelings do get picked off here. The creep spread for DRG, not where it's normally at, because Cure has been so diligent about removing this. And it looks like this queen will fall. And Cure's got 2-2 done, even with upgrades now with DRG. DRG needs to take a good fight here. He just runs through, tries to get us around. Already a pre-split here by Cure.
Oh, and a ton of Banelings here, but decent splitting at a Cure. He's going to have to run away here, but the splitting there so spread out over there is going to save most of his army. DongRaeGu, though, buying himself more and more time, has a bunch of units, but Cure's army is very scary here. DongRaeGu has to take this very seriously. He has to hold off this attack if he hopes to live.
Yeah, that's very important. 3-3 is a time bomb for DRG. Now, he has Hive on the way, so he's been able to, through all of this, with all the Banelings he's been making, get that started. Now, the reason why this is so important, hold that thought, we're actually going to see these mutas take out the bunker. There's only 4 Marines in there, so not going to be able to stave this off. We'll lose the Marines, possibly some of those units. And here we go, a nice little trap from the back. The Zerlings come in, but again, the splitting for Cure is quite excellent. With Widowmine support as well, this is not going to happen.
No, but, and actually there's mutas back at the third base, trading with those Marines and now getting a bunch of SCV kills.
Widowmines too, he takes them both out, and that's a pretty expensive trade. Not even a trade, because he doesn't get anything out of it. He loses the Widowmines there for nothing. Even contaminating the command center, making it so that it's hard for it to actually use any of its spells. But as I was saying before, when the 3-3 upgrades get done, DRG is going to have a big problem on his hands, so he wants to do as much damage before then. And he's actually getting a pretty good surround here with Zerlings alone. He needs possibly some Banelings. Let's see, he's going to actually commit here Banelingless. He's targeting down the medevacs, right-clicking on them with his Mutalisk. So all the medevacs go down, and here come those Banelings now.
Baneling's getting some decent hits, but a lot of them on Marauders, and he is going to be able to hold that off. And these Banelings being a bit awkward as well, going to have to get out of there, but I think they're going to be chased down. And DongRaeGu, not the best trades here. He also doesn't know about this 4th base.
Yeah, I'm starting to worry a lot for DRG because killing SCVs like this, it looks pretty on camera, but it's actually not that great in this matchup if that's all you can accomplish. You want to be able to trade efficiently against the army and keep the Terran player back, keep him stuck on 3 bases, make him feel like he's being choked out. And this is annoying, yes. And in fact, he does need to probably get some turrets up here and so add maybe some Widow Mines in here. And DRG is dominating that mineral line. With a full mineral line to the top right, he's not too concerned. Now let's see how much he gets done here. This is the big story.
Well, there's 2 of these turrets already up. It seems like he wants to fight it, but with Marines on the way, he's going to have to get out there. Nice repair, losing a bunch of mutas as well. This 5th base out of DRG going to be focused down by a nice drop here out of Cure. Cure's multitasking is going to get this down here. Very nice trade there for Cure.
Yeah, this is looking worse and worse for DRG. As now 3-3 is complete for Cure. This one Spore Crawler actually very much worth its weight in minerals, but the drop will actually make it to the main base. See what it gets done there. Zerlings do continue to engage. The Banelings, on the other hand, pulled back. Very, very tough fight for DRG to take right now against this army. Will clean up this drop. Not a whole lot of damage done this time. Needs to remake his 5th base, though, because a 4-base Terran against a 4-base Zerg is never what the Zerg wants to be.
No, definitely, especially with those upgrades that have finished for Cure. DongRaeGu has his own upgrades on the way, but he has a bunch of time here that he has to kill. He has to wait until his 3-3 is done in order to get back on even ground with Cure here. He does have a huge army here, DongRaeGu, but Cure also with a very long, big army. Here is DongRaeGu with the counterattack. You're going to take out most of these SCVs, just continuous counterattacks, and Cure is going to turn around again.
Yep, turns around again here. And this is exactly what DRG needs because his 3-3 is getting up, and this is part of the reason why him getting that hive so early on is really important because he's able to finally push his upgrades out. You know, it's so forced, it's so painful for a Zerg player to actually get 3-3 upgrades. They have to go through so many different stages of evolution to get to that point. By the time they've gotten to that point, usually the Terran player has either died or has taken too much control of the map. DRG is hanging on by a thread when it comes to map control, but he's losing that thread right now. He's losing all of these tumors. He's actually about to lose control of his 4th base. He has that 5th on the left side of the map finishing up, but still, this pressure is getting scarier and scarier second by second here.
I mean, he runs by a little bit more Zerglings, but it's not much. He has to have most of his army here. He cannot lose these extra mutas, only loses 1, it seems. But DongRaeGu, like I said, he has to be very, very careful here. Look at the splitting out of Cure. Look at those Widow Mines in such perfect position. DongRaeGu's going to come in here. A ton of Banelings, but awesome splitting out of Cure here. But are there too many Banelings? That is the question.
Well, it looks like the answer is no. At least not for now. Cure's going to push his way through amidst JINAIR fangirl screams up to that base. He will take out the 4th, and DRG is cut off here. He cannot even access his ramp. If he tries to here, you can see he ends up not getting a lot of surface area with those Zerlings. Really good Baneling connects on the other hand. It looks like a little bit of a sloppy control here by Cure. And can the Muse actually kill all these medevacs? That's the question, because DRG, yeah, he lost that base, but if he kills a lot of medevacs for it, the trade is good for him. Look at this. This base is burning down.
Yeah, there was a counterattack while that was all going down, and that their base just basically stopped mining.
Uh-oh, mutas. Thought he was going to get those medevacs there for a second. My heart stopped, Brendan. But Cure said, calm down, Wolf. I got Marines queued up, rallied across the map.
Cure has a lot of medevacs. A lot of his supply is actually in medevacs. So as you saw that army go down, a lot of it was just in medevacs when you looked at his supply. DongRaeGu, you know, he's putting the pressure back onto Cure here. And he's doing a decent job of it. He's getting, you know, that 5th base up and mining. He's restarting his 4th. He's even throwing in some Zerglings over here that these SCVs are going to have to run away from. And Cure, you know, he's starting to fall apart a little bit here.
Yeah, he's definitely losing ground. He's no longer looking invincible, right? And there's, you know, 3-3 upgrades are done for DRG as well. So he loses a few drones here, but does fend this attack back off. Kills that medevac. Every medevac that's lost is really important because it's not like a Marauder or a Marine. It's very gas expensive. Now, I really like this, just picking off some of these turrets. It could even be good for him to just make 2 Banelings back there or something, see if he can get away with it. Here comes a big attack. He's swinging the hammer right now on this third base. He's no longer trying to force a lift. He's trying to kill it this time. We'll see if he can do that. He's got it down to half health. I think he's going to get this command center, Brendan. It's going to be close.
There's the repair. Is he going to keep it alive? No, he's not going to. And the Banelings connect with a bunch of the SCVs and a ton of these Marines in the back. DongRaeGu taking control of this game. Here's the army of Cure that was out of position. It is going to push this back. But DongRaeGu getting that command center. It's just 3 bases now mining the main and the natural, or 1 base I should say. The main and the natural all mined out, and these continuous Zerglings coming in and harassing. Just so hard for Cure to deal with. DongRaeGu doing such a good job taxing the multitasking of Cure and is really taking control. It looks like Cure now is just like, I got to do some damage. I got to go across the map now, but it's just so hard. And now it looks like he actually wants to come back.
No, I mean, the mineral bank is basically gone for Cure. I mean, we talked about earlier the medevacs and how much they cost in gas. In this game, with all the gas he's built, it's not important as much anymore as the minerals are. And he's starting to get spread pretty thin in minerals. And every time he takes a trade like this, it's hard to replace those Marines with no money.
Yeah, it really is. And those SCVs almost getting blown up. And this 1 mining base of Cure right now is not doing much. It seems like he floated his main command center to that 3rd, which is doing a bunch of damage. But look at this. Another drop at a Cure. Oh, looks like it is going to be pushed back. That medevac might actually get away as well.
DRG is back in form, man. Ever since he won that ace match, I'm really liking his play. He's totally controlled this mid game. We're going into late game now, but every drop that hit him, he had an answer for it. You know, even when he lost his base, he was doing something else as a result, and he was able to pay back Cure in full. I like this choice to kill the rocks so that the Zerglings can't run in, but I mean, he is literally hitting Cure where it hurts every single second of this game. He's never letting up. His multitasking here is on fire, and amazingly has been able to do this and dominate this game with almost 80 drones. It's a tiny army that he's working with, and he's just making it work every single time. He's now camped the production.
Yeah, DongRaeGu, I'm very impressed with this play. It's one of the reasons why, you know, he's just getting better and better back into full form. It's definitely, I definitely thought he was going to win this match, and it seems like he has taken control. The supply gap getting much bigger and bigger. This drop, you know, continuous drops at a Cure, but they're just not doing much damage. And DongRaeGu sitting pretty on, you know, 3 or 2.5 mining bases. He's got to be feeling pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, this drop will be cleaned up again. He doesn't want to drop or allow him to drop 1 Marine per Baneling, but still. This drop, on the other hand, the army's a little bit out of position. Can he get this to do a lot of damage? I don't think it's going to do enough. Starts to get a few drones here. He does have 3-3, and that Widow Mine could actually turn things around. We'll see. Gets a few drones there.
Yeah, and he's going to pick up and go away. And now that the army has moved away from this 4th base, or 5th base rather, he's going to come back there and do some more damage, even trying to drop in the main at the same time.
Now this position here is the reason why we said this map is so good for mech. It can be good for Marines for the same reason. We described this exact situation. Units on the high ground, very difficult to attack with melee. The main base here is a bit exposed, and DRG's starting to take some pretty heavy hits. We're not going to lose a spawning pool, it looks like, here with the transfuse going down. The Mutas come home for the rescue. But he needs to be careful about this base, because enough units on the high ground makes this so difficult. And now he's even going to start elevatoring up, and I think this base is as good as gone. I don't think he can fight this with Mutas alone right now. He does he have enough?
He's going to try, and look at this. So many Banelings going to hit all of these units on the low ground. Such a huge army out of DRG, and look at those supplies. Cure falling really, really low. The Mutas winning the battle on the high ground as well, and now on the chase with the speed Zerglings. DRG has taken control of this game, and it looks like he's going to win it.
Yeah, you know, the Mutas on the high ground didn't trade efficiently, but there were just enough of them, plus the support on the ground, that it just did not matter. That's going to be the end of this Bioforce, and that's going to be the end of this game. GG, MVP takes a 2-0 lead against JINAIR. Uh-oh, JINAIR fans, what is happening?
DRG, man, he's just looking better and better. Just another really strong game out of him. Cure, one of the, you know, a very, very strong Terran here for JINAIR, but just not able to stand up to this powerhouse of a Zerg. He is back in shape, and I just love the fact that we have him back here playing really, really well for MVP. He is part of the reason that MVP is taking out these big teams, and he shows, again, a really strong game.
Wow. MVP might get a 3-0, man. Maru might not get to play. This could happen. And now, the most scary thing of all. Now, if you've been playing StarCraft 2 since Kess was switched over, you will recognize Pig Baby, the ID. He played a lot of Pro League last season. He played in Code A. He became quickly known as the cheesiest player that we've ever had.